Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Hard Truth. Thank you so much for watching and for supporting the channel. And welcome to all of our new members and subscribers. Okay, we're going to take one step ahead of the defense in our investigation of the Idaho 4 case by investigating the training request from the defense. And we're going to see what is it that they may most likely find. Okay, if you're interested in the Idaho 4 case and where we are right now with the documentation, hey, grab that cup of coffee, throw up your feet, get a nice cup of tea as we begin our story.
It was a turning point in the O.J. Simpson trial when it stopped being about the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ron Goldman and turned into a drama focused on rogue detective Mark Furman.
We intend to show in incident after incident that Detective Furman was willing to violate the law and the federal civil rights statute to unfairly prosecute black men who he found in the company of white women.
Furman denied those allegations, but when he took the stand, famed defense attorney F. Lee Bailey laid the trap.
You say on your oath that you have not addressed any black person as a or spoken about black people as in the past 10 years, Detective Furman.
That's what I'm saying, sir.
But audio tapes existed of Furman using the N-word in interviews with a screenwriter who was researching a movie about cops. The moment the defense team learned about the tapes was dramatized on The People versus O.J. Simpson.
God brought us these tapes. There's something much larger at play here. This is manna from heaven.
When Furman was called back to the stand, he knew he was sunk and took the fifth.
I wish to assert my Fifth Amendment privilege.
There hadn't been Mark Furman. This was a case that they could have won.
Famed defense attorney Alan Dershowitz was a member of Simpson's dream team.
An investigating officer's behavior, misconduct, his or her past, can destroy a criminal case. And just like in the O.J. Simpson case, the officer conduct in the Idaho 4 case can really just change the focus. And so the research question for this video series is, will Kohberger's defense find manna in the MPD officer training records? Okay, that's our research question for this series. We know that the one officer interviewed witnesses at the crime scene and worked on searching for the car connected with the crime suspect vehicle. The second officer interviewed key witnesses who are expected to testify during the trial. That's very important. Okay, and then a third officer attended the victims' autopsies and conducted multiple interviews of key witnesses after Kohberger's arrest. The third officer made decisions about which tips to law enforcement warranted further investigation. I mean, all of that is pretty huge.
In the OJ prosecution, Mark Furman became a household name, especially when defense counsel found evidence of what they argued as prejudice and bias, and that maybe it affected how he did things, and maybe there was sloppiness. How concerning is this for the investigators?
It's not concerning because it's training records. I think what they're going for is to show that these officers aren't well trained and aren't well educated in terms of how they're doing their interviews, how they were conducting their crime scene investigation. But
I believe the defense is looking for misconduct as opposed to ignorance or miseducation. That's my opinion. I believe the Brady Giglio is evidence that they will find misconduct. I believe the PCA, the affidavit, the arrest warrant is evidence that they will find misconduct. I don't think that it'll take 24 hours of research to find that somebody did things that they weren't supposed to do in this investigation. I just believe that for several reasons, not just the Brady Giglio and not just the PCA. Okay, the fact that somebody was updating the family tree on January the 4th, 4 days after Brian Kohberger was arrested. I mean, the list is endless of things that indicate something's not right, something doesn't smell right, and that even the processing of the DNA won't pass the sniff test.
You do exactly what they are doing, and it's a little bit infuriating that they're being accused of trying to do something that's untoward. They're doing exactly what a defense lawyer should do,
Which is?
which is challenging the evidence as it comes in. They should be challenging everything as it comes in. They're not the ones who have the duty to prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. The prosecution does.
Here is our lineup for our research. First up, we have Sergeant Shane Gunderson, and then we have Officer Corbin Smith, and then we have Officer Mitch Nunez. These were the first responders who responded to 1122 King Road after the 1158 call. And this is confirmed by Howard Bloom's account and also reports given by Moscow police. All right, before we dig into these officers, I would like to also read you something. This is the Brady list for Moscow Police Department, and it says Moscow Police Department is not in compliance with the nationwide public-facing Brady list or Supreme Court of the United States Brady Doctrine of 1963, the U.S. Freedom of Information Act of 1967, the State Sunshine Law, see below, Open Government Act of 2007, Open Government Initiative of 2009, and the Open Government Directives of 2009, which were issued by the United States Department of Justice. This information has been curated by journalists and private citizens, and this platform is available as a service to all peace officers standards and training, departments, prosecutors, and law enforcement organizations. All right, so that sounds very interesting, something that we can touch base on in our research, and so we need to get started. First up in our research will be Sergeant Shane Gunderson. He's first because he was an authority over the other officers when he was called to the 911 call at 1122 King Road. And also, I'm asking if any of you that send me information to my email have any information on any of these three officers here only, please email it to me, thehardtruthsubtalk@gmail.com, as we will be starting chapter 2 of this video with Sergeant Gunderson, okay? And I want it to be as informative as possible, and so maybe you have some things that I don't have in your arsenal of articles and whatnot. You understand? So let's get started. I'll see you in chapter 2, and thank you so much for watching.